Welcome to another episode of Sub-Auteurs. We are your hosts. I'm Misha.
I'm MJ.
And I'm Anjo.
We are here to talk about movies, something we love, something we know you guys love, and today we have a really good one for you. But before we get to that, let's see how everyone's doing. How you guys? MJ, Anjo, how you doing?
I'm good.
I am good.
Oh, Anjo and I were talking about this serial killer documentary on Netflix, and then we just snowballed from there. We should do an episode in the future on serial killers.
Yes.
I swear that'll be so fun.
Whether it be a documentary about a serial killer or a biopic about a serial killer, I'd be game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It got to a point where I had I told MJ to subscribe to this YouTube channel that I subscribe because this guy just tells you stories about crime stories and murder cases. It's just fascinating.
Fun.
I've actually been watching this one where this girl does her makeup while telling ghost stories.
Oh yeah, what? I see that. I occasionally see that on Facebook. She talks about either ghost stories or
true
crime stuff.
Ooh! Send me a link. I want to subscribe.
Yeah, so she'll be doing her makeup for 20 minutes, and she's telling you the scariest, weirdest, grossest murder things. It's awesome.
Weird. That's so weird. Right
It is, but it's so fascinating because you're just watching her do her makeup, and you just.
I think it helps that she's magaling siya magkwento.
Yeah, so it's like this. It comes off as this very conversational thing.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of BuzzFeed Unsolved. But when Ryan and Shane were still there, they were so entertaining.
Yeah.
Both supernatural and true crime. Yeah. Anyway,
there's something fun about true crime. I don't know what it is, but when you start, you just can't stop. And what I really don't like is when they don't know how it ends. When they don't know where the killer is. They haven't caught them yet, and I'm like, well, that's a horrible way to end the show.
Yeah,
it hasn't ended yet. You just have to wait for the sequel. No, but like the Black Dahlia murder.
Mm-hmm.
That crime is what roughly 100 years old now.
Jeez, I was gonna say 80, and then I remember what year it is.
Yeah, it's about 100 or near 100 years old now.
Oh dang!
How is it 2020 already? Seriously?
2021.
It's 2021. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
He's been hibernating. He's been hibernating like he usually does.
Unfortunately, I was around for 2020, and it honestly felt like it wasn't going to end. So yeah, I apologize for that.
Well, it doesn't seem like it ended anyway because a lot of shit's still happening. So
have you guys
extension of it?
Yep. Have you guys seen what's happened to Indonesia? Like the plane crash, right? Then a volcano apparently exploded in Indonesia as well.
Oh dang.
2021 is it's gunning for the title. It's gunning for.
Well, 2020 did have some good things like the Lakers winning a championship.
Yeah, sure. We'll give you that one.
Okay.
It made you happy.
Yes, it did.
Hey, but at least we're starting 2021 at least with a really good movie to talk about.
Absolutely.
And I'm so glad. This was the first movie I've seen in 2021 as opposed to 2020's Cats. So this is a big improvement already.
Wait, Cats was the first movie you saw?
Yes.
And it was the last movie you saw before the lockdown?
No, it wasn't. Thankfully.
Okay. No, I think the last movie MJ saw was Wonder Woman 84.
That was the last one. So I started and ended real shitty.
She ended
but at least I started. Yeah.
She ended it with another cat.
Yes, I did. What is with 2020 and cats? It didn't leave me alone.
So you
started
started and you ended the year with scary CGI cat people.
Yes. But at least this one has a cat, a really cute one.
Okay, today we are talking about Pixar's latest animated feature. It is called Soul.
Yay!
And we'll talk about it a little bit up front, and then later we'll go into spoiler territory. What did I say? Territory. It's Spoiler Town. That's where we're going.
I want chimichurri. I want chicken.
I'm so sorry. It's your fault.
I also would like chicken. What the heck? You know what? We don't need movie sponsors. What we want are food sponsors at this point.
I know, right? Feed us.
I mean, like the best food to eat while watching a movie at home, since we can't go to cinemas now anyway.
Oh man, when we get fans, somebody please send us food. We promise we'll mention you by name if you send us food.
Quesadillas.
Now I want tacos. I hate you, my MJ.
You know what I want? I want pizza.
Ooh, we're ordering. Ooh, I think I'm ordering
pizza
for the weekend. Ooh. There's this great. Hold on. I gotta ask my wife.
Welcome to our food podcast.
Guys, I think we're gonna have
back to the movie.
Okay. Wrong podcast.
Okay, back to the movie. Soul is Pixar's new animated film. It stars Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey as a Jamie Foxx plays a music teacher who has always dreamed of hitting the big time in the jazz scene, and he's about to get his big break when, unfortunately, and this is in every trailer, he dies.
No.
Spoiler! No, just kidding. It's in every trailer.
It is in every trailer. And when he dies, he decides that he's not quite ready to go yet. So the movie is about how he tries to get back to his body on Earth before time runs out. What did you guys think?
I loved it. I cried. And if you didn't cry, are you even human?
This movie, it connected with me so much. I don't know. Maybe it's the age.
Yeah,
what do you mean? What do you mean the age?
I don't know. I'm 12 years old.
Aren't you young to have a podcast?
No.
Aren't you too young to know who Brie Olson is?
Aren't you young to have a wife?
Anyway,
who is pregnant?
Okay, back to the topic. Back to the topic.
Okay, young man.
Oh, shucks.
Sure, kid. Go ahead.
What do you mean, shucks? What are you, a 12-year-old from the 50s?
Gee willikers, I am.
Yeah.
Golly.
No, but seriously, this movie resonated with me so much. You know how sometimes in growing up or you know in life, wow, can't believe I can actually say that now. You tend to believe that you're destined to do one thing, and then you realize that it's not really fulfilling, or there's something missing that you need to go back to and reevaluate what you've gone through to actually find out what you really want to do or what will truly make you happy. So it's just as simple as that.
That's heavy.
That's why this movie resonated with me so much.
And you could see it, Disney, Pixar animated films are usually targeted towards kids. But this is like the one I felt that this is not for kids. This is for people experiencing a quarter or midlife crisis of some sort. And will the kids get it? I don't know. They might find the whole adventure part later on pretty fun, but I don't think it's really gonna sink into them, like what it really means to not know what your life is all about.
I think it's basically the adult version of Inside Out, or a more mature take of what Inside Out is like. Kind of. It's a different perspective, definitely.
What I liked about it was it's like the very best of it's prime Pixar, honestly. It's them doing something that's for the whole family, and everybody takes something away from it, but they all enjoy it in their own ways. And the fact that this one had something to say about life and passion and work and the human condition. I mean, I did not expect all those things to hit as hard as they did, especially from a cartoon.
Exactly.
But going to what MJ said about how maybe kids might not get as much from it. Yes, granted, but apparently it's amusing enough. My friend in Australia, her baby has had this movie on loop basically since it dropped on Disney Plus over Christmas.
Her baby.
I don't think the kid knows what she's watching, but she gets mad when you change the channel.
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean,
it does have very eye-catching animation anyway. So that's enough to please the kids.
There's that. Also, I think prior to this podcast, Misha and I were discussing about this, and I think we saw it before you did, correct?
We needed a palate cleanser after Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah. Yes. So anyway, I think Misha and I were messaging about it, and he said this movie has so much meaning. It had so much depth into it, but it was presented in such a way that it would have made it easy to understand, even for kids, which is why Pixar's been killing it the past few years with movies like these.
Killing it like their characters.
Sorry. I was surprised that the thing that in the trailer with Joe dying, it happens like in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, where do you go from here?
They did that for up to,
No, look, okay, look at this.
Remember Ellie?
It actually had the same director, Pete Docter. He did this movie. He did Up. He did Inside Out. Basically, I think he's working through some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You okay, Pete Docter? You alright? You need someone to talk to?
No, but I like that if ever he is going through something, he just pours out all his feelings into the stories he's telling. And that makes it very meaningful, I guess. I think all writers or directors who put so much meaning and emotion into what they're working on, into their work, tend to make, probably their best work.
That makes me feel sad now that you mention it, because apparently this is going to be the last movie he'll be directing for a long while.
Why?
Because now he is the full-time CCO of Pixar.
What's the C? I mean, what's a C? Chief
Creative
Officer.
Creative. Okay.
So he's in charge of all their productions now, not just his projects.
Boo.
Well, but that's a good direction for them. At least he will be like overseeing everything and will take it to a good direction if ever. Hopefully whoever directs the future films will also have the same creativity, but at least he's there to guide them.
But I thought he was wearing the big boy pants in Pixar, but now he's wearing the, bigger boys pants.
The biggest boy pants.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. I mean, like, long-time right-hand man for John Lasseter, who, as we all know, had to vacate his position
Yeah, he did.
due to some, very controversial accusations.
That is true. But I understand. I mean, just looking at their upcoming lineup, Pixar's got a lot of interesting stuff on the way. I know you're thinking of Raya and the Last Dragon, but that's actually that's a straight up Disney picture, I think. I'm talking about stuff like Luca and Turning Red. And of course, the one that excited everybody would be Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
Yes. His origin story. This one's supposed to be a separate. It's not going to be related to the Toy Story universe, right? It's going to be an origin story for the character of Buzz Lightyear.
Which is what I thought the old Buzz Lightyear Star Command cartoon was. But I guess this is completely different from that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, the cartoon was more of like an adventures of Buzz Lightyear type thing. Who knows? We don't know. We only know so much about this project. They might be bringing characters from that cartoon to this movie.
That is true.
Will they have green aliens?
Yes.
That
love. But back to Soul. I really like the way Jamie Foxx plays Joe. We all know that Jamie Foxx is a talented musician in his own right. You've seen him in more than one movie doing his own singing, dancing, playing the piano, and all that stuff. And here, I think that musical background really comes through. His passion for music. You can hear it in his voice that he believes the things that he's saying when he's talking about his love of jazz.
Because this is Jamie Foxx, guy who played Ray Charles, guy who's actually a recording artist.
Yeah.
The guy who drove around an assassin in Collateral. Wait, that had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry.
But I also love the musical aspect of it because I'm not a big fan of jazz. I'm like, okay, I can listen to it, but never on loop. But I love how the music here, they picked it really well for even non-jazz lovers to appreciate. And you know how he'd have his moments where he'd get lost in the music, close his eyes, and you're feeling the exact same thing because the music was just that good.
Absolutely. And the visual, the visual representation of the different areas of where our souls go at different stages of our lives, I think that was also done really well.
Yeah, dude, that blew my mind.
No, but
my favorite one there was when you're in the zone. Where your soul goes when you're in the zone. It goes somewhere. It's not quite heaven. It's not quite the great beyond, but it's pretty close there. Where your soul just leaves your body because you're in such bliss. I'm like, wow.
That's amazing.
And Graham Norton is there. Of course he would be. Where else would he be?
I can't even
I'm sorry.
I can't even express how much those things, how much I enjoyed their representation of those things. Because I never could have imagined that. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
how could Pete Doctor think of all these things to represent where your soul's going to be, or what, you know, when you're in such bliss, or you know, you're so happy, you find meaning in it. It's hard to do that.
It really looks like he's been thinking about this stuff for a long time.
Yeah, it's also kind of like how he structured Inside Out with the core memories and each emotion.
That was brilliant as well.
That was mind blowing, and this is another example of that. That's it. Not necessarily something that's going on inside a person's head, but it's like where you go. There are many places that you could go, and you could come from this place too before you're even born, like where your soul gets nurtured and like looks for the spark, whatever
it's
it is.
Something that's just it's so simple without being simplistic the way they did it. And that, of course, what comes before the great beyond would be called the great before. I mean, it makes so much sense. Even if none of us ever stopped to think about it before, it's wonderful that somebody at Pixar did. And they made it for us to see and feel and experience. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah, and I love the art style. You could really see the contrast between like Earth and whatever worlds there are. So it's like this very bright and just the character design. Like even if, technically they are like little blue blobs. Like you get it. It's adorable. And the other like people in charge in the great before, they're just like simple lines. That
they
kind
were
of
like
art.
Picasso drawings. Like,
exactly.
seriously.
Yeah, there you go. It's great.
Yeah.
They did look like Picasso paintings. And I just love the color palette, the blues and the purples. It's so calming. It's so sarap sa mata. Ang relaxing niya.
I thought
the blues and greens and the purples.
I thought honestly at first it would be so dull na parang it would be that lang, the whole movie. But it turns out I was wrong. Parang this movie is so relaxing. It's like it's the perfect movie to watch when you've had a busy day. You kind of want to feel good.
Or existential crisis. Either way.
Yeah, either way.
And even if the great before consists mainly of these gently rolling hills of pastel colors. I like that they were able to find some kind of variety to it. Even before we come back to Earth. I mean, even when you're in the great before, all the different areas, they all have their own identity, their own look and feel. And it just makes so much sense. I mean, like somebody really put a lot of thought and effort into what, the afterlife and I guess the pre-life, how that works, how that looks.
Even the rules of the place.
That is just brilliant world building.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking to you, Patty Jenkins. Rules.
Still bitter.
Upset?
Still bitter.
I'm still bitter.
Yeah. God, that movie sucked.
I mean,
Wonder Woman.
We're not talking about Wonder Woman anymore.
No, we're not. We're not. All of y'all listening, because you all are real fans. You all must have heard that one by now.
No, I like.
Please send us quesadillas.
Yes. And chimichurri.
Oh, God.
And the animation in The Great Before was just so fluid, too. It was just so seamless. And like how they were all moving, it's just like water.
Yes.
Like butter.
Yeah, but more importantly, I like the character designs of the souls,
Little
they were so
blue
cute
blobs.
and they're little blue blobs that you cannot hurt. They're bendable, which, I think going back, like looking back into it, it's so cool that they were moldable. They could be reshaped because, they're still trying to find what their purpose in life is. It's such a good metaphor for what trying to find your purpose is. You bend it, you shape it, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty,
when they go to the great beyond, they already have their own distinct character designs. Like not just Joe, like even the other people who die, quote unquote. A little Asian woman or like
they already had their lives.
Yeah.
And also something that was really nice about it was it just made so much sense the way they plotted it out, that you have to figure out what your spark is before your soul gets sent to Earth to start its life. And even things like how come they're indestructible? Oh, that's because you can't crush a soul here. That's what life on Earth is for. I'm like, whoa, that came out of nowhere.
That.
Oh my God,
it's kind of
this
true
is not
though.
for children.
I know. I also love I also love the jokes when they were making the souls. Like, oh, this one's narcissistic. This one is gonna be insecure. This one's gonna be...
Yeah.
I liked it.
Tinitimpla nilang.
I liked it when they were introducing the souls. Parang, yeah, I'm a soul. I'm a bubbly, blah, 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 blah. And then it comes to, I'm a maniacal egomaniac, blah, 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 blah. Bound for world domination and everything. I was like, oh, that's funny.
I love that. I really do love that.
No, but, speaking about, something different from the world building is that we all know that the story starts on Earth with Joe, and he's from a real place, he's from New York City. Aside from the fact that they were able to do some great, awesome world building with the Great Before, and the Great Beyond, and those other concepts about, ethereal stuff.
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen an animated feature. New York City has been featured on different animated movies because it's New York. It's one of the most well-known cities. It's one of the greatest cities ever.
Where dreams are made of, there's nothing you can't do. Sorry.
Yeah, but
I can help
there's no other animated movie that's captured the heart and soul of what New York City is like. Watching all the scenes that they did in New York, because even this movie even portrayed New York better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, with the busy streets and everything, and all the small, like even just like the smaller parts of New York, not necessarily like the Times Square side that is very popular in many films.
Yeah.
This is just like, the little small neighborhoods, the small businesses, and the little hole-in-the-wall places.
It actually looks like one of those areas that's been gentrified in New York. Apparently, it's all those small apartments on the ground floor, and then they turned it into like those cool jazz clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really explored New York City. I only had to pass by there on a layover once, so I don't think that really counts. But I will take your word for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. It is very accurate and very lively. I do love the browns in the color palette too.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very calming to the eye. It's a good contrast to how busy it really is. Like, you do see the crowds and the chaos from time to time, but I don't know, just something about the color palette is just like
I agree with Anja on that you've never really seen New York represented this way before. Because even for me, somebody who's never really been, it struck me the way they presented it. It struck me like it was being done by people who really knew and loved this place enough that they could distill the essence of it into a 3D cartoon. So they weren't just it wasn't necessarily 100% accurate. I mean, but I think they got more of the essence of it than anything else.
Yes, I agree. It was, that's why I said heart and soul. I didn't say they got New York perfectly.
Like the literal geography or whatever.
Exactly.
No,
but it was more of the feel. Like, if you watch any other cartoons that's based in New York, you wouldn't get the same feeling that you would watching Soul.
Here, because like what you see in a lot of movies are like the touristy parts, like the
Times
touristy Times Square,
Statue of Liberty, etc., etc.
Yeah, how it's such a busy central business district or whatever. But this is more like a zoom in into the small neighborhoods, which made you feel like, oh, this is home. It's not perfect, but it's home.
Exactly.
And you see the many places that Joe goes to his mom's neighborhood, like his mom's a seamstress, so their little store, and you see his little barber shop he likes to go to all the time, and the little jazz club and the school. It does feel very homey, which you don't see a lot in New York, because you're always seeing like the career side, business, money, Wall Street.
I think that's something also that I really enjoyed about this movie, because as much as it's about really big, mind-blowing concepts of life, death, mortality, passions, and time well spent and whatnot, the meaning of life, the meaning of your life, it's really a small, intimate story about these two people.
Yeah.
Well, one person and a person to be, I guess, because Tina Fey plays an unassigned
22.
soul who has never actually lived. And this is about how the two of them learn to figure out what's really important.
And as a soul, she's never found her spark. So they didn't know how to place her. She didn't want to leave. Right.
And that being said, shall we get to the spoilery parts?
Wait. Before we get to the spoilery part, you mentioned the music earlier.
Ooh, yeah.
Didn't you, MJ?
Oh,
Okay.
Trent Reznor
Yes.
and jazz.
So
It's a
even
good
if it's
balance.
jazz and jazz,
Yes.
no,
And
it's,
jazz.
it's jazz. Jazz music is not for everyone. I understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea, but
This
it's
movie
one.
was jazzing.
This movie was jazzing.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Misha.
I'm sorry.
No, but adding to the fact that it was New
MJ's
York,
making that
because
not happy face. I'm sorry.
It's all your fault. She might drop out of the
Jazz,
call.
shut up. Just kidding. Jazz kidding.
Oh my god.
No, but adding to the fact that jazz is such a big thing in New York. You know, there's such a thing called New York jazz that people know it. This movie perfectly captures that. And it's because of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. You know, these guys, 9 Inch Nails and Atticus Ross basically working on the original score for this movie, which added to the charm and the feel of the whole of the movie. It basically, remember in that Home Alone episode where you said it's such an intimate movie, it's such a small movie, but you wanted that movie to sound big. That's why they got
John Williams.
John Williams for that movie.
And they couldn't believe it when he said yes.
Right? But much is the same with this movie. How you want this movie to feel has a lot at stake because of the music.
But I think but Reznor and they did a lot of the interstitials, but the jazz part was with Stephen Colbert's band leader.
Questlove.
Which you still don't know the name.
I still don't know his name.
Questlove.
Huh? That's his name?
It's Questlove. Well,
Oh yes, Questlove.
Questlove.
Huh.
He was also the voice of the student who became the drummer for one of the characters.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love the contrast here because when you're on Earth, you hear more of the jazz, but then you get more of the industrial Trent Reznor stuff when
You
you're
get
in the
the Trent
great
Reznor stuff.
before.
Because you'd have
I
to
was
make
gonna
it
say the
sound
same
so.
thing.
Yeah,
You'd have to expect some ethereal sounds, diba?
yeah,
So
but
it's-
he toned it down in a way that's not very Trent Reznor. 9 Inch Nails, I wanna fuck you like a...
no, I mean like because it's in the industrial.
Not like that. Yeah, but it's much simpler in a way that it fits the atmosphere of the great before. It's not like what you usually hear from him, but it's still him. You know what I mean? It's different, but still him.
Mhm, mhm.
Them, sorry, and Atticus Ross, sorry.
So
And Atticus Ross.
with that said, do we
Now
move
we're
on to
going
the
to
spoiler
spoiler
parts?
town.
I wanna fuck you like an animal.
My favorite character is Joe as a cat. First spoiler.
Okay, that's your first spoiler. Okay, for everyone who's listening who wants spoilers for some reason, even if you haven't seen the movie, the trailer reveals nothing. You think you know
Nope.
exactly what you're going to get when you go into this movie. You do
Nope.
not. This movie just pulls the rug out from under you, and it becomes a completely different kind of movie once Tina Fey and Jamie Foxx get to Earth.
I love Tina Fey so much. She's so funny. and who mentioned this? I think it was Andrew. The SNL besties starred in like both really good Pixar films with Amy Poehler in Inside Out. Now you got
Yeah.
Tina Fey here.
That's right.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah, I think I messaged you about that.
I know, and I love how she made that joke. They made that joke because like souls, they don't really have voices because those are like physical attributes that you get on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So when she's talking to Joe, Joe's like, "Why do you sound like a middle-aged white woman?" It's like, oh, because it's annoying. Because it pisses people off.
I like the fact that 22's character has had so many mentors, and among the mentors were
Oh,
like,
I love that montage. She got
Great.
Mother
And
Teresa.
she pissed them all.
I know all these.
Abe Lincoln,
Gandhi.
And like,
and
oh
Gandhi
my-
was raging.
Can you believe like all these people that you know are like saints in their own right, or like these brilliant, amazing people can't seem to like get this rebellious little soul to get its shit together.
I have a thing. It's like Tina Fey is great in this movie. Why has she not done more voice work?
I don't know. Maybe because middle-aged white women sound annoying.
No, I don't know.
According
I thought she
to
had
her.
a great voice for animation.
Yeah, I know. It's cute. It's cool. I love her. I love her so much. I'm a huge fan. And I also love that little
Mean
joke.
Girls pa lang, dapat fan ka na.
Well, ever since. SNL.
Yeah,
I
right.
also love that joke 22 did. Like she likes messing with the with the New York Knicks.
I've been messing with this team for decades.
Hey, hey, hey. Do you guys? I think Soul is actually a true story because when 22 left, the Knicks are actually doing good this season. They're actually, I think they're number 6. They're
That's
number 6
hilarious.
in the East. I think.
is
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so
timely.
22 finally found, peace.
So 22 finally stopped messing with the Knicks this season.
That remains to be seen, but so far so good.
So far so good. Let's see how they really are if they don't.
But we do know that the team
I was-
from New York that's strong is Brooklyn.
Yes,
Anyway, can I just say,
gosh.
I was
Sorry.
surprised that they actually name dropped the Knicks. I thought they were just going to leave it at the uniforms, but no, they said it out loud.
No, that's how bad the Knicks were. They had what? Almost a decade of being the bottom or the worst team in the league.
Aw, poor guys. That was hilarious though.
I believed in the Knicks when Carmelo Anthony was traded to them, but
Yeah, well,
shit
right
hap-
now I believe in
shit
22, messing with them.
Me too.
Yep. It makes sense. Pete Doctor,
Makes
are you
total sense.
psychic or something? You have some ethereal connections.
I
Does he-
think, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But I think that what really gives the movie its whole intimate look and feel is what you guys said earlier, how it shows parts of the city, parts of New York that you don't really see on tourist trips or in other big movies. This one has a lot of small moments,
Yeah.
and just to see the characters living these moments, I mean, this is incredible because like most animated movies for children, for families, they're just one slapstick gag after another, one pop culture reference after another. This one is happy to take its time and just let the story tell itself.
Because that's what the story in general is all about. It's like finding the happiness and simplicity in little things, and you don't
Yes.
have to like dream too big or don't be too disappointed in yourself if you don't reach these high ambitious goals of yours. Because it's just like just living and being in the moment and appreciating what you have. That's what the whole thing is about. So the full simplistic message of it and the full mood and feel of wherever you are is just perfect.
Yeah,
What was your favorite bit? I mean, your favorite moment?
there were a lot.
Yeah. That next one was one of my favorite jokes though.
Yes, the Knicks joke. The previews of the souls and what their personalities were once they found their spark, like the maniacal egomaniac. I don't know, the manipulative egomaniac or something. Maybe I like the part where it focused more on Joe. The parts where it focused more on Joe's relationship with people on Earth.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like when he went to the
yeah.
barber shop, and they were
I
all
love
talking.
that part.
That was so
I-
nice.
To add to that, and especially the part where he goes to his mother's shop and they have that
Oh,
conversation about him fulfilling his dream.
Dude, that was heavy.
That was
Man.
heavy, but I love the treatment of that because by
Yes.
this part, when they are so somehow in the story, Joe and 22 eventually find their way to Earth, but
Mhm.
then accidentally Joe falls into a cat's body and 22 falls into Joe's body. And it's just hilarious how things unfold. And it's like Joe is moving like a bumbling idiot because, like, right, 22 doesn't know how to use body parts yet. That makes total sense.
And then
can
I
I just
also-
say,
Go,
wait,
go.
can I just say, I'm sorry. It's like, okay, you fell into my body because my body didn't have a soul. Why'd I fall into the cat? I'm like, oh, I know the answer to that one.
It's coming from a dog person. Controversial.
My girlfriend's a cat. I'm sorry. I love you. Wait, moving on.
but I also like the part where he was trying to, back in the Great Before, he was trying to find or help 22 find her spark, and he was feeding her all. He got her a slice of pizza in the Great Before, and he was like, and 22 was like, I don't smell anything. Doesn't taste like anything here in the Great Before. They're just supposed to represent the things I could find a passion for. And then when they get to Earth, Joe gets 22 a slice of pizza, and she and 22 just found it irresistible. Like the smell of it and the taste of it, she was like, it's okay, but then she just gobbles it up.
I think that moment is one of those that spoke truest to me, because let's all be honest. There's nobody who can be made unhappy by pizza.
New York pizza pa.
Mm-hmm.
New York pepperoni pizza.
Which is why I'm sad that Lolita had to move to Alabang. It's not
And
so
we're
accessible.
back to the food podcast.
Sorry. No, but Nolita is the closest thing to New York pizza.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
SNR
It is.
likes to say they try.
No, but the owners of Nolita, kasi, well, food podcast na ba tayo?
Go
Yeah.
ahead. The owners of Nolita.
The owners of Nolita,
Should be on High Street, ladies and gentlemen.
Sponsorships.
no.
Sponsorships.
Most of the restaurants they own are based on New York, the New York concepts like Borough. And
Right,
that,
right.
what's
Oh,
that?
that's why they're.
Man.
That's why the store looks very New
Yeah,
York.
Borough, Nolita, and what's that restaurant near BG's?
You can do it. Just a little more.
The Bowery.
There you
Even-
go.
Yeah, there you go. So it's all.
Man,
it's all
why'd
New
you have
York.
to say borough? Now I want some warm cookies with milk.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then at Nolita,
Because you
after the
mentioned pizza.
After the pizza, I would have a funnel cake.
Oh, God.
Oh, funnel cake. I missed their funnel cake.
I also miss their funnel cake. So
Oh.
we're ordering Nolita then, are we?
No.
Well, not now.
No, not now. Mahal
No.
kaya ng Grab nun from Alabang, guys. Come on.
Okay, sorry for making you listeners hungry. I
Right,
hope you're
so-
not listening at an ungodly hour where you cannot order pizza. Like the mistake we are making. We are talking
That
about
is true.
food at almost midnight.
It's not our
Please.
fault. 22 really loved her pizza in the movie, and we could
Mhm.
relate.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I also love that treatment. Going back to what Andrew said when Joe was talking to his mom. So
Mhm.
he's stuck in the cat body, and then Joe's, 22 essentially. But I love the treatment of how, Joe's trying to tell 22 what to say through the meowing, the cat, but because for some reason they could understand each other. And then when he finally gets to real talk with his mom, you see this like camera movement, and it's actually Joe talking in his body, telling his mom
Yeah.
what he really feels, and it's just so sincere, and it's like, oh, galing.
Yes. Oh, going back pa to what we mentioned earlier before the spoilery parts. One of my favorite parts kasi talaga or one of my favorite characters is the sign spinner.
So it's a sign spinner
kasi-
played by Graham Norton.
Yes. So that what was that place for in the great before, if the souls become lost souls, like I said, the rules of that
It's like,
material
what's
world.
it called? It's like an in between.
The in between.
I
So
don't remember.
if a soul doesn't find its spark or can't find its passion, and they inadvertently become lost souls, correct?
Mhm.
If I
Yes.
remember correctly, they become lost souls. So they become these rock-like, golem-like creatures that wander the in between aimlessly, not
Mhm.
knowing what their purpose is. Along comes this ethereal ship with 3 souls in it,
And
Graham
Graham Norton,
Norton.
and Graham Norton is in it.
which makes so
You know-
much sense to me. I don't know why.
You find out later in the movie that he's actually a New Yorker
Mm-hmm.
who
It's like an old hippie.
who does who has out of body experiences, or who goes to the astral plane while he starts spinning his sign. So that's
Yeah,
his meditation. It's very funny.
But I like
That's
that.
such a New York thing too, can I just
Yep.
say?
That sign spinner.
Yeah. Oh, and his name is Moonwind.
Moonwind. There you go.
Moonwind.
Old hippie.
So when Joe sees him in New York, the employer just goes, "Get out! He's busy. He's working and everything," trying to send Joe away because he's paying him by the hour or something.
I like that Joe. I mean that what was his name? Moonwing.
Moonwind.
Moonwind.
Gets to go to the in between when he's in the zone, when he's just spinning his sign and he's in his moment, because like the
That's how
in
he astral
between is
planes.
this, it's not quite heaven, it's not quite the great before, it's not even purgatory, it's just this other worldly state, and it just made so much sense to me that that's where you go when you're in the zone.
Mhm. No, but
Yeah.
Like
You know,
even
I-
Joe goes there when he plays his jazz.
I like the representation of what it is if you're a soul who can't find any purpose, because it looks like a desert,
Mm-hmm.
in a desert is somewhere where you can get lost and you wander aimlessly until you get found. So that's a pretty cool concept of what the in-between was like.
So many layers.
I know. It's like we're peeling onions or something. Which makes sense because this movie made us cry.
Yeah.
Speaking of onions, yeah, it did.
Yes, it's a lot of ninja cutting onions.
Seriously, the fact that it comes down to Joe learning that one thing that you're super ultra mega passionate about, the thing that gives you your spark, your reason for being, that it doesn't have to be your life's purpose, and that's okay.
I was
like, what the hell? Whoa. Damn movie.
Damn movie. I also love that conversation in the barber shop where his neighborhood barber, he had goals for himself and he wanted to be this, what did he want to be?
Vet.
Yeah, a vet. He wanted to be a vet. He wanted to be successful. But then when Joe asks him like, oh, so you're here now, I feel sorry for you because you're probably not happy here. And he's like, what are you talking about?
It wasn't Joe. It was 22 in Joe's body.
Oh yeah, 22.
That's true.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I'm perfectly happy where I am. Like life didn't lead me to that dream of mine, but I'm perfectly fine just talking to people, making them look good and feel good with their hair. And that's enough. It's like, it's like life does lead us to those weird paths.
One of the best conversations in this movie, aside from that and the mom, is also the conversation that 22 had with Joe's student when she came to visit.
Oh yeah, I love that.
When she said that she was about to quit.
She was going to quit music
class because she apparently didn't like it. It's such a familiar conversation to have that you think you don't like it and then you eventually say, you give it a second thought and you say, no, I actually like it. I love doing this, you know. It's so simple, but it's so simple and it's so intimate but it's so effective.
It's so real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, this movie
just to add on
so many
to that
times.
Part about the barbershop conversation, what I especially loved about it was that the barber was so grateful that he could share that aspect of himself with the person that he thought was Joe. And he was asked, how come you never said that stuff before? And the barber just says, well, you never asked before. Thank you for asking today. I was like, wow, this movie. I mean, like, let's think about it. There are people that you could see your entire life. You could see them every day and you don't know anything about them. It just takes the least little effort to just ask them about themselves. And you know, you can be surprised at what you find. And I love how the movie presented that.
Yep. You'd be surprised with what you find and how you make them feel afterwards, which is a strong, very strong and powerful message.
Right.
Yeah.
In the
it's
same
so
way
simple.
That Joe, it was when he wasn't trying to mess with 22 or manipulate 22 for his own gains that 22 really discovered what the hell the meaning of life was. Well, for her, or what was important to her.
Probably on a personal note, one of my takeaways from this movie is, you know, when you focus on the relationships you have with different people, maybe that's how you find meaning in your life.
Yeah.
Because I think this is how this is what mattered to Joe in the end, after he was able to go through what he really wanted to his entire life, only to find out that there was something missing. And that that he missed something, or he couldn't find it, because only to realize that he wanted to help out, you know, somebody who was a nuisance at first and eventually turned out to be a good friend.
I also love the part where he goes back to Earth. He gets to go back to his body and play for this band that he's been dying to play for. And then afterwards, this is what he's been fighting for. This is the big reason why I want to get back to my body. This is why, this is my big break. And when he gets there and he finally gets to play, and then afterwards he's like, oh, that's it? Because that happens to so many people. Like you think your entire life you're working towards something, but then when you finally get it, you're never really satisfied. And that's like
I'll never be satisfied.
Oh no.
My name is Angelica Schuyler, Alexander Hamilton.
Please check out our Hamilton episode also on this Spotify channel.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Not even a segue there.
But
sorry.
But seriously, this is a vicious cycle so many people go through in life, which is why they never seem to be satisfied. They just like keep reaching higher and higher and higher goals, which is not bad in a way. Because yes, you're doing something for yourself that you wanted, but
on the flip side of that,
at the same time, it's not.
It's also why a lot of people are depressed.
Yeah,
it's why depression happens.
Part of that also, I think, comes from the fact that a lot of what we perceive to be success is what other people tell us. So that you chase these goals, these dreams, or these things that society says that you need, that you have to have, that you have to accomplish, you need to do. And at the end of the day, when you get there, when you do them, you see them, you feel them, you're like, that's it? There has to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
And that reminds me, I mean, it's echoed a little bit in this movie, but something that I usually tell people on their birthdays, honestly, is I wish them, like, may you live every day of your life. And I came away from this movie, I found out this whole movie was about that, that sometimes people are so far up their own butt trying to win the rat race that they forget about all the little things along the way.
The little things that count.
Like pizza!
No, but it
or
was
like
so...
leaves falling from the tree.
Exactly. I was going to say
how
that.
Sunlight hits the pavement.
That's my next answer after pizza.
How the vents work in New York.
Or music, just listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Now we're all like so introspective.
This is such a good movie.
No, but the story is so simple. But the layers are so... It's just so many layers to this movie. From the conversations that Joe has, the mundane conversations he would have, but it was actually 22, man. So much depth. And the focus on the relationships he had with people, like the student, his young student, the one who wants to quit, his old student, the one who gave him the gig, his mom, even the barber. It just spoke volumes, like about how relationships can actually help you find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't burn bridges with people just because you can't find any answers you're looking for from them. But when you actually revisit those relationships and you actually have a decent conversation with them, it's actually then that you actually find something or you realize something about yourself.
Can I just bring something up? I mean, we're winding down and all, but what do you guys think? Because some people I don't know if this is well, you tell me. There are some people on the internet who think that this movie is bad for people of color because the main character, who is a person of color, spends 90% of the movie not as a person of color. What are your thoughts?
Their souls. So should it matter that they're not?
I'm with you. I think that, this is a movie about people, this is a movie about characters. I mean, they could be pink, yellow, green, blue, whatever. I think it told a very universal story.
I think you shouldn't focus on people of color because whatever skin tone you have, this movie is applicable for everyone, regardless of what nationality you have or what race you have. I think I don't know. I didn't think it was such a big thing.
I don't know. I think some people on the internet just like stamping on things that other people like. They have nothing better to do but to be negative.
I don't really want to speak on that because I am not a person of color. I am a person of color. I'm Asian, but like in terms of like what they were saying, probably the African American community, I'm not a part of that community, and if they have like problems with that, I would rather have somebody of that race to explain if that person feels that way, that I'm not okay with that, then I would like to hear from them. But I'd rather hear it from them than like random people on the internet.
I agree.
What's your opinion?
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think if they're looking for a representation, then that should be them explaining that, not people. Not
people taking up their cause for them.
Not Facebook comments, not tweets or anything hating on the movie for that. I think it should be from people.
I think a lot of and the funny thing is that a lot of these comments, they came out even before the movie came out. So, You know, I
Yeah,
think
some people
they just wanted
some
something to
people
complain
overreact.
about.
Some people don't really. Some people say their opinion before they really watch it or get the context of it, because
Yeah.
what I got from it, at least, that it was a very rich representation. Well, at least what Joe had in his current life, in his present life, it was very telling. Like the whole barbershop culture, and even jazz in general is very African American dominant. So I was glad to see that part of their culture, and I appreciated it more. And that's the good thing I take out of this movie, that yes, it's different. At least it's not white people anymore, but
Yeah.
and at least I learned something new about different cultures, and that's what I
And
appreciate about it.
exactly on that level, it's a bit. It's other than it being entertaining, it was a bit educational. It was somehow a glimpse of what that culture was like, which is one of the best things in this movie. It added to the feel of reality. When they were stuck in New York, which I did mention that no other movie has made or represented New York in probably as good as this, like any other animated movie. So
Yeah.
so there's a little like brief deep dive of what takes place in a normal day in New York.
And the best part about it is that you get interested in it. Like you get a taste of it and you want to learn more about it after watching this movie, because that just this is how this whole culture makes Joe's life different or interesting, and you want to learn more about it. So I think that's a plus side to it.
Yeah.
At least you're more aware.
For my part, I mean, you're absolutely right, MJ, that probably none of us is qualified to speak to the African American experience, whether or not this is an accurate representation, whether it's a derogatory representation or not. What I did enjoy about it was, and I'm probably gonna get crucified for this, is that at least the movie is trying more than I've seen in a lot of animated movies of things. And the fact that what you said absolutely makes sense, that if this gets other people inspired to learn more or to, think about things a different way about their neighbors, then maybe that's a good thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that it all comes down to, I can forgive Pixar for making stuff like Cars 2.
I would take Cars 2 over Planes.
They didn't make that. They didn't make that. Disney TV did that.
Oh, okay.
No, they released movies.
No, that Disney TV division did that. Look it up. It wasn't Pixar. That's why I never count those. Those
okay,
are
fine.
trash.
Cars 2 then.
Cars 2, stuff like Cars 2 or Monsters University. They're the kind of
I didn't
movies
even watch
that other studios make. They're fun while you're watching them. You forget about them when you leave the cinema. But at the end of the day, I understand and I respect, whether or not I like it, that Pixar has to make crap like that in order to make meaningful, experimental, impactful films like this one. And I am grateful for it.
Yeah. And going back to the race thing, it's a thing we've struggled for the longest time, as early as we can remember. So I don't think it's going to be that easy to make a film that's so perfectly politically correct, because it's baby steps. It doesn't,
absolutely.
Equality doesn't come overnight, and so will the output. It won't either, but it's a good step.
Yep.
And the fact
and regardless of when you're going to do a movie such as this, people will have varied opinions anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless of which.
The fact that the studio has to have multiple billion-dollar movies under their belt before they could even attempt to put an African American in the lead role. I mean, on the one hand, good for them that they took the effort, but on the other hand, I think it also says a lot about the people out there that something like this was even seen as a risk in the first place.
Yeah.
So I guess I get where some people are coming from, where they're just triggered by nature, just by the very idea of it. But I think if they watch the movie, and they really get what it's trying to say, that they can appreciate it for what it is. And it's a great story about people. Again, what Anjo said, regardless of color, regardless of race, this is a great story about life, everybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, at first when I saw the trailer, I was like,
Yeah, it looked
Okay,
like just
maybe-
another buddy comedy,
right? You know, and
With
then
blue blobs.
like Onward. Well, anyway, sorry. Onward was just okay. It wasn't terrible.
it was whelming.
It wasn't
Well,
great either.
it
Just
was
We were
okay.
whelmed.
It was
okay.
gimmicky. It was gimmicky.
But it didn't
okay.
push the gimmicks far enough. It was just
That-
okay.
Yeah. Oh well. It's not like Cars 3. Cars 3 was great.
I actually
You know.
like Cars 3. That one
It-
was about growing old. I did not expect that.
It was
From a
also
movie
a
about
time when
talking cars.
there was also a time when Kobe wasn't doing so well in the Lakers anymore.
Wait, was Kobe in Cars 3?
No, I'm just saying it alluded to, retiring athletes.
Oh my
and
God.
getting old.
Yes, Andrew will always find a way to bring it back to the Lakers somehow.
I know. I was like, where is this coming from?
Sorry. Kobe.
Yeah.
Are you saying Cars 3 is about Kobe?
I wish.
Ka-chow! No!
Kachiga. Oh wait, that's Chick Hicks.
I don't know. I just can't unhear Owen Wilson anymore.
Wow.
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 And did you guys see that video where they replaced all the laser sounds from stormtroopers firing them
With Cardi
the,
B?
with the no.
There's a
Yeah.
Cardi B
No,
one.
they
just so you know.
replaced the lightsaber sounds with Owen Wilson saying wow 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 wow
Wow.
wow wow.
Wow.
That's funny.
Okay, so anything else you guys want
Yeah.
to
Closing thoughts on Soul.
favorite parts?
Best movie of 2020 for me.
I also think this is perfect. I'm not sure if they really intended it for a 2020 release or they just happened to release it because they felt like, oh, this is the perfect film for this time. But it's very timely in a sense that 2020 was a shitty year for a lot of us.
Yep.
And all of our lives were put on hold because of the lockdowns, because of the pandemic and safety. And a lot of people kind of went on this downward spiral, feeling that, oh no, my life is on hold. I had so many plans. I had so many things I wanted to do with my life, but now I can't do it because I'm stuck here at home trying to be safe. And it's perfect. It's a perfect message because it's telling people to calm down, be like, it's okay. Just live.
Mhm.
It's okay if you don't reach those big dreams. As long as you're breathing, you find ways to make yourself content and fulfilled and happy, even in the simplest things, whatever that is. That could be in your house. It could be a movie. It could be like playing with your dog, anything at all. But it's just forcing you to focus on the simpler things to just be happy and okay with not going on big adventures and big dreams or whatnot. So it's perfect for people in this year.
I think MJ said that perfectly. I don't think I can add anything to that anymore. That's the best summary.
I don't know how I'm gonna come after that. Wait, hold on. Teka lang.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You can
It's
end
true
with that.
though, right?
No, yeah, but
I'm
What,
sure
only
you guys
the two
felt
of you
that
get
way.
closing thoughts?
But I'm sure
No.
people felt that way, right? Because you're like, oh no, what do I
Ka-
do with my
Kasi
life?
naman, sobrang
still-
ganda nung outro ni MJ. Ang hirap
Sorry.
sundan, guys.
You
So,
already
Lana.
had your chance. Your last words were whatever they were. I forgot them because hers was so good.
Yep.
Sorry.
Don't say sorry. Don't say sorry.
No, that was great.
That was
Honestly,
great.
that was great.
PV, paki-replay na lang nito.
Oh, shit.
Can you manipulate that into Misha's voice? Just kidding.
Oh. Okay, I'm
Not
gonna
Chewbacca.
try
Not
to
Chewbacca.
add to it. I'm not gonna try and top it because I don't think I can. For me personally, I've seen lots of movies that tell you. I've read lots of stories. I've seen lots of movies where they tell where the theme of the story is to, Gago. My microphone
To
fell.
what? To scream?
I'm gonna do that again. Okay, sorry. So I've seen lots
No,
of.
Please include
movies-
it.
Yes, that's the meaning of my life: screaming. No, but okay. I've seen lots of movies. I've read lots of stories where the theme or the moral, the takeaway is supposed to be about, savoring the little things in life. Don't let things go too fast because you miss what's really important, what's in front of you. And that was even the theme of Cars 1. But
Why
for
is it
me,
Cars? Why does it all go back to Cars?
I know it's like one of their best with 3, and I guess arguably 1, and also one of their worst with 2. But never mind. I really hate 2. I'm sorry.
I don't like. I don't hate
We
it.
figured.
But I don't like it.
Figured.
So lots of stories like that. But for me, my main takeaway, what really just had me bawling my eyes out in this movie was when they make you realize that the things that you're passionate about, the things that you love, the things that give you your spark, that even if you don't end up doing those things as your purpose or as your reason for living, you're not a failure, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's still much joy to be found. What MJ said, in the little things. And life is best lived appreciating those.
Because life is not a race, Misha.
No, it's not. And
not.
sometimes, you don't need to win every award. You don't need to be published in the biggest of, publications or whatever. You don't need to have all the credit in the world. Sometimes, just a ray of sunshine that warms you up, or a slice of pizza that makes your day.
Everybody. A slice of pizza. A slice of pizza will make everyone's day, Misha.
I know. So what's wrong with what I said?
Even it's too obvious.
I can't go for the emotional hook because MJ already got it. I'm just going with, food. Ang ganda ng ending niya. Can we just edit it so she closes the episode so that we don't look like assholes for trying to follow?
No, I want us to sound like assholes because it makes us funny. Especially you.
Again, Misha, it's not a competition. It's
And
not
that's
a
okay.
race. It's okay.
You don't have to have the best closing speech for our podcast, Misha.
I am not. I just like pizza.
Yes.
Pizza.
Maybe one. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, so thanks for coming to our TED Talk podcast. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. No, oh shit. So Soul is kind of like a giant TED Talk represented as a fictional comedic story. Oh. No, it's not. Sorry.
Okay.
No, you tried.
I tried.
No, but that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't the one who tried with pizza though.
I wasn't trying with pizza. I was just talking about pizza. But really, everyone, to watch the perfect reason to watch this movie is everything MJ said.
Yes. Pizza.
And pizza.
I hate you guys. I really want pizza now.
Okay, fine. The next recording, we're all gonna have pizza. Let's all agree to bring pizza.
Yay. And hot sauce.
And hot sauce.
And hot sauce.
Hot sauce?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. House.
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 Gilbert plant soy sauce.
Yes. For those of you wondering about House, please listen to our Home Alone episode.
Oh my God.
Shameless plug.
I'm not good at segues at all.
Okay. But yeah, thanks guys for listening to this episode. Let us know what you thought about Soul, what parts made you cry, and how much of an existential crisis you're probably in already. Or actually, it doesn't encourage it. Like it cancels out the existential crisis if ever. It's like,
parang,
it's okay.
Maganda nga eh. Kasi parang if ever you find yourself in a rut, just watch that movie.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So there. Hope you enjoyed this deep conversation about life.
It's a deep dive into a self-help movie.
It is a self-help movie, isn't it?
It is. I'm going to watch it again this week.
With pizza.
Yes.
Okay,
so
let's talk about it on our Facebook group. Check it out. It's Sub-Auteurs. We like movies. If you want to join, just feel free. We'll let you in as long as you're not an asshole.
See, that was a segue, Anjo. We have to learn how to do that.
Radio DJ by trade. She does this every day.
Right. She's like, fucking amateurs, these two. Why do I put up with these idiots?
Like our page.
Yes, please our page.
Join our group. Let's talk movies and share stupid memes. And maybe next time it won't be as heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
We have been the Sub-Auteurs. This is a big baby production. We are your hosts. I'm Misha.
I'm MJ.
And I'm Ajo.
Tell us what you like about Soul. We'll see you next week.
Food for the soul. Like
Pizza for the soul.
Insert jazz here. Okay, that was bad.
No, you can make any sound you want. It is jazz.
Yeah, it's like scatting. Why don't you try scatting?
Oh, Jason Mraz is really good at that.
Pizza.
Is that a sign for us to play Call of Duty?
That's a segue, from scatting to Call of Duty.
I don't think it's a segue if you call it out as a segue.
That's the segue na.